Igbo mi wan make no na ma sin ko ye chiri ya zere. Wan dem happen ihe obula yi na eme. Lere m vida. Otu onye Yoruba atalo kwa ma jeze. Acho mi go much. Lekere m vida ka iwe ike kwata yam dem.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Christian. First and foremost, I want to use this opportunity to thank, I think, the Prime Minister of the Biafran in exile, that's Simon Ekpa. I saw the video on his timeline where he said that this guy is from the Yoruba, extraction, and they will release him just to show again that the Igbos are not enemies to the Yorubas. However, they are against every tribe that works with the Nigerian army, that are doing everything possible to annihilate their own people fighting for their own liberation. I think that's a kind and it's a way to go. However, it's a shame on the Nigerian army, and it's an indictment that the Biafran Liberation Army are defeating the Nigerian army on all fronts and ground. In fact, there is a response to that from the Nigerian army, and I can see that the Nigerian army are also seeking the international bodies. They are seeking the assistance of the international bodies in every way, to repatriate the money back home. But you see, I think the one thing is Biafra has gotten one thing right. They've learned from the mistake of the past, and this time I think they are standing on a solid foundation with the support of Simon Ekpa, who is dismantling every formation of the Nigerian army in the southeast. Don't forget, it was the Nigerian army that took the battle to them, and in fact they call it, this is a war, an asymmetric war. I could recall that was a statement of the chief of defense staff. But as it were today, over 6 months later, the Nigerian army had the one crying wolf, seeking for assistance, international help, and all that. It's an indictment, and I think for me, my happiest moment was when I saw that guy. Though he was being beaten, his face was battered.
Before he was captured, he was in a fierce confrontation. Possibly he could have sustained such injury before he was finally captured.
Well, be that it may, I'm just happy that the man has his life intact. Because just a trigger, just one squeeze of the trigger, the guy is gone. He's gone. So to my fellow Yorubas, I think we should not continue to buy that story that Igbos are the enemies. I think the enemies are the bad people in governance. If we are going to look at who is the president of Nigeria today, it's a Yoruba man. It's a man who has not shown empathy even to his own fellow tribes people. It is a man who doesn't even give a damn about the flood happening in Maiduguri. All what it's about is re-election comes 2027. He's doing everything possible, erecting his own political, stalwarts, his machineries. He's doing everything to silence the voice of the people. And of course, when I'm talking about the voice of, I'm talking about the voice of the Igbos, or Biafrans as they like to be called. Just recently we saw that the initiative about the CNG, they call it compressed natural gas. Amongst all the states, the Southeast were omitted. If we go to the NEL fund, which is the education loan fund, we can see that the Southeast have not benefited significantly. So it's very, very disturbing that this is a land that provides gas. This is a land that is rich in gas and oil. Look at Imo, look at Abia. And then if you look at all the southern states that happens to be a part of the Biafra struggle, these are the states that are well reached in these oil resources. And of course, the government keeps on ignoring them. So of course, these guys are justified if they say they want to succeed. Because if they get what it is needed to be gotten from a working system, I don't think the Igbos will want to succeed. In fact, they will be the major advocates of Nigerians. Because they happen to be the most traveled. Internally, they happen to be the most traveled. The Yorubas hardly travel around. They stay within their, but the Igbos, they travel, they go for trading. So they happen to always demonstrate the oneness that we are actually, counting. But of course, it is unfortunate that the Nigerian Federation has always marginalized them. I'm very happy that this guy, his family, I'm sure he would have reunited with his family now. The Corporal Toriola would have united with his family, and I am sure he will pray for Simon Ekpa wherever he is. And I mean, going forward, if you are a Yoruba man and you have been sent to an Igbo land, I will advise you to leave that duty for the Fulanis, or the Hausas. Please, we are having issues back home here in Southwest. You can see what the Fulanis are doing for our mothers and sisters in Ondo State. Please, if you are a Yoruba soldier, tell them that you don't want to go to Igbo land. The Igbos are not having any issue. We are the one now having issues. The Fulanis look at those guys have creeped into our forest.
Exactly.
If you go to Ogun State Forest now, all the Ogun State Forest, the Amu Resort, almost everywhere in Oyo State, in Ondo State, these Fulanis are there. They are building their camps, taking over people's lands, unabated, just because they are not yet. There's no yet much noise. So the Nigerian Yoruba armies should please come back home and protect us. That is what we need. Because, as it were, if the Biafran ever succeed today, let me tell you, the Yoruba land will be the prey in the hands of the predative Hausa Fulanis if care is not taken. And then on a last note, I want to appreciate Simon Ekpa again for his kindness, and just by adventure, they find more Yoruba army in the Igbo land. I want to beg in advance, please don't kill them. Send them back home, just like you did with Toriola. Thank you very much.
Biko metụrụ anyị aka na share button maka ihe onyonyo na ma mee ka onye ọzọ soro nweta ya ka emesịa na ụmụnne m